Hi, folks. This is Ben with New London Farm and Forest, and with me today is Kari Wagner, co-founder of TapRoots, and we're excited to have her and talk with her more about homeopathy. She's an expert in it and obviously runs the store TapRoots. So, Kari, thank you so much for joining us today. We greatly appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Ben.
So, as we get started, just tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, background, different things like that, just so folks can get to know you.
Sure. Well, I am a wife to my husband for almost 22 years. We have three daughters. They are 12, 14, and 16. And I'm co-founder at TapRoots, as you just said. We opened in 2020 and just moved our shop a few months ago to Route 221 in the Briarwood Plaza. We're also online, and we ship all over the country. So
Do you
I'm
really?
excited to share more with you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I didn't realize you guys shipped. That's awesome. That's
Yes.
fantastic.
Mhm.
So how did you first get introduced to homeopathy?
Well, I first heard about homeopathy through my cousin
Okay.
because it was the best medicine that she could find after thoroughly researching natural medicines to heal Lyme disease for her teenage son. He was
Okay.
so fatigued by the disease that he'd have to lie down at the top of the stairs just after going up the steps because it exhausted him so much.
Wow.
1 year after using homeopathy, he went from having to lie down at the top of the steps to running an 8-minute mile. So that was
Wow.
pretty incredible. And after my cousin had huge success using homeopathy for her son, my mom decided to try it because she had repetitive UTIs for many years
Okay.
and was prescribed antibiotic after antibiotic, all while the UTIs continued to come back over the years. After using homeopathy, her UTIs have been gone.
Really?
So
Wow.
my children were pretty young when I first heard about my family members trying out homeopathy, and
Yep.
of course, I always wish I knew about it before they were born at this point, but it's never too late.
Right.
And I was skeptical at first, but when my middle daughter did a cartwheel in the living room and banged her ankle so hard on my desk, I was absolutely positive she was going to have this huge black and blue mark, a bump, and
Right.
when that happened, my mom was there. She had some of the remedies with her. And so with my permission, she gave her a couple. And if I'm being honest, I was absolutely sure I was going to be sending a picture the next morning of this huge black and blue mark to my mom to show her those remedies didn't do anything.
Right.
But as I pulled my daughter's sock off in the morning, there was not a single mark.
Really?
I was shocked.
Wow.
And I just couldn't believe it. So that was the moment for me that I decided there really might be something to this homeopathy, and
Right.
and I need to learn more about it. So from there, I just started learning basics, through
Okay.
a blog from a world-renowned homeopath, Joette Calabrese. She has an amazing website, and I took some of her classes. I read a ton, and I learned a lot through personal experience with, 5 people in our household getting everything you can think of, from colds, coughs, flus, strep throat, infections, dry eyes, allergies, whatever it is. We handled it with homeopathy, and
Okay.
we haven't used antibiotics or steroids for any of it. So
That's crazy. That's
yeah.
that's impressive and crazy. I think that kind of blows my mind as well. How many years now have you been doing homeopathy, and how long has that been at this point in
It's
time?
been about 8 or 9 years now.
Okay. Okay. Wow. That's crazy. So obviously there's some benefits there, but really, what does homeopathy entail, right? So for the new folks that maybe are not familiar with that term, like, what is it? Just at a very basic level, what is homeopathy?
That's a great question. I mean, many people think that homeopathy just means remedies like home remedies because that word's in there.
Right.
They think it means vitamins and supplements, essential oils, herbs. And while those things are all great, they're not homeopathy. Homeopathy is its own system of medicine.
Okay.
It's made from plants, herbs, chemicals, other natural substances, but it's highly, highly diluted to, it's very gently prepared. It's a very gentle, high dilution of the original substance, basically. So it's very different from allopathic medicine.
Okay.
Homeopathy is going to stimulate the body to heal itself. It works
Okay.
on the whole system rather than just one symptom.
Okay.
It was created by Dr. Samuel Hahnemann. He
Hmm.
was a German physician who believed conventional medicine sometimes did more harm than good.
Hmm.
And so his creation of homeopathy is based on three principles. The first would be like cures like. So
Okay.
that means that thing which would produce a set of symptoms in a healthy individual can treat a sick individual who's manifesting a similar set of symptoms. For
Okay.
example, if my eyes tear up or burn or my nose runs when I'm cutting an onion,
Right.
then if you if you experience similar symptoms of that in allergy season, then a very minute dose of the homeopathic remedy called allium cepo, which is made from the raw onion, is
Hmm.
going to help your body reverse those symptoms.
Interesting.
So that's like cures like. The second principle is minimal dose.
Okay.
And so what that means is that your body should just take the minimum amount of
Yep.
the medicine to initiate that healing process. And minimum doses won't produce any harmful side effects,
Gotcha.
which a lot of people experience taking conventional medicines.
Hmm.
And then the third principle is single remedy. So Dr. Hahnemann's mission was to treat the whole person and not individual symptoms. So when looking at the whole picture of that person,
Yep.
you can notice a positive change, not only in that physical ailment, but also in their emotions.
Gotcha. Interesting. Now, does homeopathy entail the use of any like conventional drug treatment?
No, I mean, you can use homeopathy alongside of conventional treatments.
Yep.
It won't interfere or interact with anything else that you're taking. But homeopathy is completely, basically opposite of
Okay.
conventional medicine.
Gotcha. Okay. Um, and so obviously it's homeopathy is one of those things that can be used to treat multiple different symptoms or ailments and things of that nature. What for your own personal family? I know you went into that a little bit. I'd like to touch on that maybe a little bit more. Is what are the ailments or the things that you've seen the benefits from within your family from homeopathy? What type of things does that include?
Yeah, I mean, for those that are watching that have a family, you know all the things that run through your house from strep throat, stomach bugs, flus,
Right.
colds and coughs, earaches.
Yep.
People are always coming in the store, for all of those things. And my kids can't remember the last time they've had to go to a doctor's office because we
Right.
use homeopathy for everything at home.
Gotcha.
And our immune systems are, I think, stronger than the average person because we don't rely on antibiotics for our illnesses, which then kill all the good bacteria too.
Right. Right. And now, does homeopathy also have like some pain relief type stuff? So rather than taking like a ibuprofen or a Tylenol or something like that, does homeopathy also entail some pain management or pain relief type
There's
of products?
remedies for everything you can think of. If
Okay.
it's pain, if it's sore throat, if it's a headache, dry eyes, eczema, skin issues,
Yep.
whatever it is, there is homeopathy for it. There's over 6,000 different homeopathic remedies out
Wow.
there.
Wow.
So,
I didn't know that. I didn't realize that there's that many. That's crazy. It's almost mind blowing when you think about 6,000. That's a lot. So, what caused you to start TapRoots? Obviously, you were introduced into homeopathy several years ago, but what caused you to want to start TapRoots?
well, in 2018, my husband had a very quick onset of all the late stage symptoms of Lyme disease. And it was so debilitating that I stepped out of the business that I was in at that time just so I could be home more and take care of our family. Long story short, homeopathy made such a big difference in our lives for the kids, for him, for me, and I wanted to share with other people. And so when my business partner approached me in January of 2020 about opening a wellness shop, I
Right.
jumped in with 2 feet
Okay.
because Lynchburg did not have anywhere. Every time I was looking for the remedy I needed, I had to order it.
Right.
Lynchburg just didn't have anywhere for me to go that had a wide selection of homeopathic medicine. And And so I was totally on board to help bring that, education and availability to more people. And my business partner gets total credit for the name. She came up with
Okay.
TapRoots, and I loved it because it's the main root. It's the primary source where all of the energy stems from. And my business partner and I are both rooted in our faith. And homeopathy is an energetic medicine that is used to treat the whole person. So it was just the perfect name.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool. And you started in January of 2020, so it was like right at the beginning of COVID. How many people, became introduced during the time of COVID? How many people were there? A lot of people that got introduced to homeopathy just simply because of the COVID pandemic.
So this all started in January 2020, just as us agreeing to pursue this and
Okay.
and so then March of 2020 hit when
Yeah.
the world shut down.
Right. Of course.
And God kept opening doors. We just kept taking one step at a time, and we kept moving forward. And we opened our doors in July of 2020.
Yep.
And it was slow moving for sure. I mean, not a lot of people were getting out.
Right.
But we made sacrifices and we made it work, and we have been steadily growing ever since. And I think the pandemic, honestly, it opened a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah, of course. No, that's an amazing story. I mean, I'm always intrigued by someone that like had to start a business or start something in the middle of the COVID pandemic, because it was just an unforeseen time. And obviously, with homeopathy, the conventional medicine, right, was telling us one thing that may be very much different than what homeopathy would help people to achieve or to recover from around COVID, right? So you kind of had some differing opinions there, maybe from time to time, right, around COVID. So that's absolutely amazing that you're able to do that during the middle of COVID. So I applaud you for that. Are there really any health risks to doing homeopathy? Like, does someone put themselves at risk of, messing things up or messing themselves up by doing homeopathy?
No, homeopathy is safe for babies on up, and even
Okay.
your pets. And there, as I mentioned, there's no interactions or interference with other conventional meds or
Okay.
herbs that someone might be taking. The medicine's been around for over 200 years, so it's not a new age medicine. This has been used for a very long time. So the only thing I would say is, when you're new to it and you don't really know what you're doing and there's a lot to learn, you just start with acute illnesses.
Okay.
Somebody in the family has a fever or a sore throat or a headache. You can come pick up a remedy for that. But if you're dealing with something chronic, we send a lot of our clients to certified homeopaths
Okay.
to have a consultation and get a protocol for their specific case.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. And you mentioned that really homeopathy is for any age group, right? There's no age group where it's not necessarily, it's safe for all ages, including
Yes.
including infants. Amazing. So if someone wants to start or is, intrigued by homeopathy and wants to start, what's a good kind of first step that they should do or that you think would be beneficial to them?
I would say come visit TapRoots. We are very educational there. We do our best
Okay.
to spend time with people and help educate and point you to really great resources. We've got books in the store that you can read. We can point you to some great other resources online. But an easy first step is to come in and just kind of look at all the remedies and
Okay.
maybe pick up something that matches a symptom of an acute condition that
Right.
someone in your family is going through right now.
Right.
And so you can see some quick results, because if you're trying to come in for arthritic pain that someone's been dealing with for months, don't
Right.
expect you take a remedy and 20 minutes later they're feeling all better.
Right.
That's something that's going to take more time. But certainly come on in and we can point you in the right direction.
No, that's fantastic. Do you have a particular go-to product or first product for someone, or is it basically it's more aligned with the symptoms that they have?
Yeah, I mean, when I was new to it, I definitely started choosing remedies that our family dealt, that would suit our family best. So if you
Right.
have a family that deals with a lot of seasonal allergies and we're coming up
Mm,
on, allergy season,
right.
then I would just start there and not feel overwhelmed that you have to have everything for the flu and the stomach bug and all the different things,
Right.
but just start with what your family deals with most. Does somebody in the family always deal with headaches? Start there.
Mm,
But there's a great remedy called bioplasma,
okay.
which is all 12 mineral salts that work on a cellular level to replenish what's depleted. So
Okay.
it's not a vitamin or a
Okay.
supplement, but it is something that can be taken for about 2 to 3 months regularly, just
Okay.
to really help replenish what they're lacking. And so a lot of people might pick up bioplasma if they're new to it and don't know which
Hmm.
one they need. This is all 12 combined, and it's great for headaches or cramping or spasms, general inflammation. There's a lot that it can handle. So
Right.
that's a good
Interesting.
start.
Okay. Cool. No, that's great. We have about ten minutes left or so, so we'll try to press on. Um,
Okay.
as far as, and we'll kind of transition a little bit because I know that TapRoots offers other things than just homeopathic products. I see that you have an infrared sauna. Um, what can you tell us about the infrared sauna and what benefits that provides?
I got in it this morning. I love the
Okay.
infrared sauna. It's amazing. There's preset programs that you can
Okay.
choose from, but the brand that we have is Sunlighten. So I would encourage you to go on Sunlighten's website and look at all the benefits. We have their two-person Believe unit, and we chose that
Okay.
unit because it provides near, mid, and far infrared wavelengths.
Okay.
And so most infrared saunas out there are just giving you a lot of far wavelengths. This
Mm-hmm.
one has near, mid, and far. So keep that in mind. There's different benefits when you get all three. It's, like a full spectrum benefit.
Gotcha.
And your session is typically going to be anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes.
Okay.
And you can choose from detox, weight loss, cardio, anti-aging, let's see, pain relief. There's some really great sessions to choose from, and people are walking out of there with some immediate results, and
Mm-hmm.
also others will tell me later, I sleep better when I use the sauna.
Okay.
And so and then we've got, most of our customers do take advantage of the monthly membership. That's
Okay.
going to bring your price per session down quite a bit when you're a monthly member. So but I would say if you're new to infrared saunas, but you are familiar with saunas, you might be used to getting in a sauna that's around 150 to 200 degrees.
Yep.
This is an infrared sauna's ideal temp is going to be between 100 and 130. It's dry heat.
Okay.
It's heating up your core rather than the air around you.
Yep.
So when you're getting in a sauna that most people think of where it heats up the air around you and you're sweating
Right.
water out of your body, just a surface sweat. The infrared sauna is going to it's almost inducing a false fever where
Okay.
it's heating up your core and you're sweating through your lymph system and you are really
Okay.
detoxing, and it's just so different. So some people, you might get in and you might be like, I didn't even sweat in my first session, and that's okay. It might
Right.
take 4, 5, 6 sessions till you
Okay.
actually start sweating. It's just very different. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. That is so cool. Is infrared sauna for a particular age group, or can that be used for anyone? Can anyone use
It's
it?
typically going to be for 18 and up, but
Okay.
if a child, if a parent wants to bring their child in, typically a child should only sit in there 1 to 2 minutes
Okay.
per age, per their age.
Okay.
And we do have a $10 add-on fee. So a lot of times we'll have a husband and wife come in, or
Right.
two friends might So you can always buddy up and do that, but it is more fun to just relax and have quiet and
Right.
have the space to yourself.
Sure. But it sounds like that an infrared sauna has multiple health benefits depending on the wavelength that you're choosing for the benefit that you want to receive. Is that correct?
Oh yes, and there's lots of. I won't get it for time's sake. I won't get into
Sure.
all of that, but there's a lot. There are clinical studies out there that shows how it reduces blood pressure,
Interesting.
reduces cardiac disease, and all kinds of things. So
Yeah, that's so cool. I never knew that. I've not done infrared sauna stuff before, so I'll have to check it out. But that is so
yeah,
neat. You also offer thermography scans to
yes,
locally to folks that want to do those. Can you tell us just a little bit more about that and what it is that you offer
yeah.
with the thermography?
We have a clinically certified thermographer visit TapRoots 3 to 4 times a year. When she
Okay.
comes, she's just booked solid back to back
Yep.
for 3 to 4 days in a row.
Yep.
And she has a private room at TapRoots where all the scanning is taking
Okay.
place. Thermography is a digital infrared thermal image. And so it captures heat patterns on the skin surface. And
Okay.
a full body scan can detect sinus inflammation, TMJ, dental and periodontal concerns, thyroid dysfunction, carotid arteries, breast cancer cells, lymphatic congestion, dysfunction with different organs, and neuropathy. The list goes on.
Really?
Um,
Okay.
yeah. So it's very beneficial to be doing that yearly, but at first you want to do a baseline where you have a scan and then 3 to 4 months later you do it again and that's your baseline.
Okay.
And then as long as everything is looking good and there's no changes, then you move to annually. Otherwise you can continue getting them more often.
Okay. And if I heard you correctly, it's a thermography scan that identifies heat different, I guess, hot spots within the body that could indicate an underlying issue that you may not know about. Is that,
Yes.
did I
So
understand
it
that
can
correctly?
detect something that you want. It can bring your attention to a pathology that you would not have otherwise known about until
Yep.
it's a lot later.
Okay. Does it replace like the need for like a mammogram or something like that? Is that
I can't use the word replace,
okay?
but I would say a thermography it can detect metabolic and vascular changes in the breast tissue.
Okay.
A mammogram is more of a structural test and detects masses.
Yep.
So if someone has high risk alert on their thermography scan, their next step may very well be to have a diagnostic test done.
Okay.
But for someone like myself who's in my 40s, I'm not getting a yearly mammogram,
Right.
because I have no reason to if everything looks good on my thermography scan.
Gotcha.
So thermography is radiation free, it's non-invasive, it's so much safer.
Okay. Yeah, that was my next question. Thermography just sounds to be a much safer, less radiation, maybe less invasive type of scanning to identify underlying health issues as opposed to doing the conventional route. Is that correct?
Yeah. In my opinion.
Okay. Yeah. In your opinion, as far as you said that it's once you develop the baseline, once a year is typically what most people will need. If something does come up on their thermography scan, obviously those individuals that get scans done at your location, they can then take those results and go to a licensed doctor, physician, or whoever else they want to see with those results, and then get maybe a second opinion or additional information about
Exactly.
some of the concerns. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How, like you're offering it 3 to 4 times a year? What times of the year are you offering thermography scans to the local community?
It It sometimes varies, but
Okay.
our next thermography scan is coming up in March.
Okay.
As soon as we have those dates solidified, we will blast that out. And
Okay.
then she usually does book up pretty quickly right after we give the dates out. So
Right.
keep an eye out if you're interested. Follow us on our Instagram or Facebook page at
Okay.
TapRoots VA, or get on our email list by going to our website and signing up there.
Okay. And men and women can do the thermography scans. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. How you said that like it fills up pretty quickly. About how many months notice or how many weeks notice do you usually give of when the next thermography scan is going to be available?
I would say we usually announce it about 4 to 6 weeks out.
Okay.
It's usually happens pretty quickly.
Right. Okay. So people need to be on the lookout, either on Instagram, Facebook, or in their inbox, if they definitely
Yes.
want if they want to take advantage of thermography scans coming up. Perfect.
Yes. Yes.
What's the typical cost for a thermography scan?
It ranges anywhere from about 175 on up to 450. So you
Okay.
can do a one body part scan like the breast scan for
Mm-hmm.
175,
Okay.
or there's a women's health study scan that's basically the ovaries on up, and I want to say that one's 275.
Okay.
But don't quote me on that. And then the full body is 450. So the great news is there is a grant through the United Breast Cancer Foundation that